Welcome back to the Railroad Challenge. Today we are going to be doing a few things over at the Desert Village. And the reason why we're going there is because we now have something that I've always been wanting to add into there, a lectern for our church over there. Now, the purpose of a lectern is where you could place a book. The question is, do I have any books that are useful for that? I don't have any filled books in this world, so I created a new empty one. And you are allowed to place a book and quill on here also. The book is empty, but you can see that there is now a book on here, which I could either read if there were any pages there. When I'm finished reading, I just hit done. And if I want to take the book, I take the book. But that's our lectern. Now, the other new thing that they added in the latest snapshot is a cartography table. This may be helpful with working on maps later on, where you could help to see. Well, we've got plenty of maps in here. See, this is the one that we'll be working on quite a bit in the near future. So let's go on to here. There you go. Let's place our map into there. We can place some paper there, I think, in order to copy the map. Actually, this I think if you place a blank map there, you could copy the map and get two maps. If you place one piece of paper there, not 8 as you have to do under the old system, then you could enlarge the map area, and you see that this is now in the middle of this huge area there, which is now you're able to get things a little bit better known in what you're doing there. Alright, so it makes map making a little bit easier than it was in the past, which in my particular area that I'm doing here could come in handy on occasion. Oh, if you want to be wasteful, I believe you can still do a map using the old system. You can still get a scaled out map that way. I think it's just a lot less efficient. You spent 2 to make the cartography table in the first place, and you spend 1 extra to do that. Well, that's not going to do anything. But yes, those are the 2 main new blocks that were added in the latest snapshot. Now they also added campfire. Oh yeah, that's right. We also had campfires added. Ooh, almost forgot about that. Let's see what we can do. Here we go. Campfire. Yeah, just some sticks, some logs, and some coal, and you get yourself a nice campfire. Now, they are planning on changing the texture to this. This is the current texture. They are tweaking it so it'll look a lot better in the end. You can see that we've got smoke coming out here. So it could be a nice way which you could put a beacon as to where you're at. You know, if you don't have the ways of getting a regular beacon, you could just take one of these, and look for the smoke that's rising out in the distance, and there you go. Well, you get charcoal if you break a campfire? It appears that you need to choose your locations for your campfires wisely, because unless you have silk touch, you're not going to be able to move it very much. Now, let's head back down to the village where we could place our lectern. It's been a few days since I've visited this place. So we have an altar right here. Not much room for the lectern, is there? Well, that's interesting. Well, maybe we're not in that much need of an altar here. So perhaps the lectern will be a better thing to have. Because, yeah, I actually think that this might be more suitable for them to have a lectern here rather than an altar. Since they're not performing sacrifices or anything like that, I think a lectern would be much more useful there. Ah, now it's complete. Now to start the task of making this safer for traversing. And I've got a ladder right where, well, obviously I can't have that ladder there. I'll have to either, well, I do have a interior ladder, and that's probably the one that I'll be using in the future then. I don't use the exterior one all that often. And I obviously should not have something raised right next to our location here, because if I do that, then the mouse would just get in and walk inside it, and that's not good, right? Why put up a fence if it's not going to do any good? Grab that. Now let's see, we could put this here. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be good. Oh, let's get our gate so that we can get in. So that we can get in and out. Really. There you go. Proper gate. And we could set up our pattern here. Good. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll put the central fence post. Alright, that's at a good location. And you see we are using spruce for this section. Rather, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's that acacia, which we used in the other direction, since spruce will be our theme here for that. Now, I was debating what material to use on top. I was considering oak or spruce or something like that, but I think I am going to, for the first section, use sandstone, simply because we go into sand and sandstone at the end there. So for the first stretch, we will make it out of sandstone to be consistent with what's going on in there and be consistent with the hill that we're tunneling under. On the other side, though, that's where we're going to change things up a bit. Fortunately, this stretch of the line is going to be much more straightforward than the previous stretches, the ones that were on the other one, because even though the terrain is going to be past a hill more complicated, since I'm tunneling, the whole thing is flat, so I don't have to worry about all the dips and rises that you have on the western branch. So let's see what this looks like. Now we are going to have, I just want to make sure that, well, I won't have to worry about any creepers, because I'm pretty sure at this time of day you're not going to have creepers around. If they were going to blow me up, I would have seen them earlier. But I will, of course, have to worry about pillagers coming in and trying to shoot me. And there you go. And there you go. And I think that if we are going to go with spruce, we might as well do that all the way. Yes, it looks much, much better when I have spruce there instead of the acacia that I had there just before. Good! And I may do some tweaking on the interior there, like those buttons. I could change those into spruce also, just to make things a little bit more consistent on what's going on in there. But I think I have a great deal of... I'll have to add another pair of gates probably near the tunnel entrance there. And maybe some other way of protecting things. I'll have to decide exactly what I'm going to do for that. Between segments, I had a little bit of an invasion from pillagers. Ha 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 ha. Well, that was fun. I got an illager banner out of that. But I also got a bad omen effect, which is not good to have. Alright, that's illager banner number 4. Well, they won't stack with each other. Very well. But the real problem is that I have a bad omen effect on me. And I don't feel like having a bad omen effect on me, because that means the next time I enter in a village, you'll get into a raid. And I don't feel like going through a raid at this moment. Certainly not into my main village, where I visit fairly often. So I am going to have to go out and get some milk. While I'm in the area, I might as well help breed up the cattle. I have a very low population I'm working on right at the moment, but more importantly, getting rid of that. Okay, good. And I'll have a little bit of extra just in case I run to another one of these groups again. Whew. Hopefully, I'll be able to finish up this section of the line without any more rude interruptions from pillagers, because they don't make for a good day. They throw parties that are rather destructive, especially to the local villager population. In one MHC, I was facing some pillagers. Well, yes, I was facing pillagers in one. Though the pillagers didn't kill me, it was a creeper that killed me. I did do a successor series where I did face pillagers, and boy, did the pillagers kill me. Boom, 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 boom. All those crossbows and villager beasts and all stuff like that. I don't want to put the villagers... I mean, we went through a lot of trouble building that rail line for them, and to go through all that trouble and then having them killed just wouldn't be fitting. There you go. Well, that takes care of the roof. Alright, that's good. I suppose I'll need some more torches for it also, wouldn't I? Well, second thought, maybe not really, because that's what these lanterns are for, right? To give me a light. Good grief, torches. There you go, a nice line of fencing and lanterns as I have going on the western line. Now, when we get down to here, we do have a question of what we want to do for the entrance. Because right now it's going sloped up like that, which is not going to do because it'll make it too easy for mobs. And I think probably the best thing for me to do here is just to close it in like that and like that. I do have to decide what material I want, but I do at least want it to be consistent. And for now, let's assume that goes limestone down to here, and then after that we will then switch to other materials, because I don't want to do limestone all the way down into that direction. There you go. There's our entrance. Good. We'll go 1, 2, 3 there. 1, 2, 3 there. Putting in a gate on each side as usual. Then continuing across down there. Now, while I was a little bit contemptuous relating to torches earlier, I still would like to have a pair of torches right along where we have the gates, because they do make really nice gate markers, since that's something that doesn't appear anywhere else along on the system. So we'll have our markers there and there, because I sometimes have trouble telling. I know, I guess you make it a contrasting color or something like that, but I just like to put torches down in order to make the position of the gates a little bit more obvious. Let's see, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, well, that takes care of that end, though I will need a little bit more spruce for the other end. And I won't need any more for the trip to the first station, since the rest of the first station is underground. So, of course, I do have to worry about what I want to do with the walls, any type of decoration or anything like that. It appears more illagers have come around. Ugh. Of course, I need the fencing to keep them out before they're going to stay up permanently, I guess. Oh, I definitely don't want that, because that looked like a vindicator there. And then finish this guy off. Alright, good. Ooh, an emerald. How nice. Whew. But these are the guys I'm trying to protect this line against. Now, if they had spawned a little bit later, after I had built the rest of the fence, I would have been able to see how secure it was. So they are going to be my secured. The next group of illagers is probably going to be my safety inspector crew. But now it's time to start with these things. See if I could take these. Oh, I was wondering, why is there a fire? Of course, because I shot an arrow in there. So, as I said before, I am going to have to change the materials for the walls here. I want them to be less ugly than this, and we do have all these things that are up there, but I want to make sure I decide on a nice and proper type of material for them. And I'll probably have to take down the lanterns and put them back up whenever I do this. But right now, the key thing is to have a good amount of light. Now, what I need to do is to get a good wall and a good ceiling design, because what I've got right now with all these random types of stone is just too ugly. Now, I don't want to just use cobble as I'm using for the bedding here, but I don't know if I can use anything consistently through, such as diorite or anything like that. I don't know if I'll have enough of that. Perhaps I'll have to cook up some stone and use stone for it. That will, of course, take some time, which I don't have time for at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see how much stone I need, compare it to how much I have, and then decide from that exactly what materials I'll be using. And I'll then build my wall section, starting from here and going down. Actually, probably this would be a good place to raise. I'll probably have the sandstone go up to here, and then going from down there with the stony materials. And that's what I'll be doing in the next episode of the Railroad Challenge.